At 8:23 p.m., the kitchen has finally stopped asking for much. Warm water runs into the sink, steady and low, touching the plates from a meal that is already becoming part of the day's background. The counter beside it holds a soft rectangle of light, the kind that comes from one lamp left on because turning on the ceiling light would feel like too much. There is a houseplant there, in a plain pot. Nothing special about it. A little uneven. A little thirsty looking near one edge. Still, it stays. It keeps its small green shape beside the sink while the refrigerator hums and the room begins to feel private. You have come home from practice with the sound of whistles still somewhere in your shoulders. Later, you paid the bills, watched the numbers settle where they had to settle, and stood there for a moment like a close friend might stand beside you without saying much. Maybe ordinary life gives back only a little. Maybe tonight, that is enough: warm water, a counter, a plant in a plain pot, and the quiet wish to want less for a little while. The sink water keeps running in that low, familiar way, not loud enough to fill the whole kitchen, but enough to give the room something to hold on to. There are still traces of the evening around you. A plate near the faucet. A fork turned the wrong way in the basin. A damp ring on the counter where a glass had been set down too quickly. These are not large things. They are just the small evidence that people have eaten, moved through, needed water, needed light, needed the house to keep being a house. Your hands know what to do before the rest of you has caught up. You rinse one plate, then another. The warm water touches your fingers, and for a few seconds, there is no scoreboard, no whistle, no parent asking a question from the sideline, no player looking at you with that tired hope of wanting to do better. There is only the sink, the plate, the water slipping over the edge. Practice ended hours ago, but not completely. Some parts of it stayed with you. The scuffed floor. The sharp sound of sneakers stopping fast. The way you had to raise your voice, not because you were angry, but because the room was big and everyone was moving at once. The way you watched one kid hang back a little after drills, trying not to show disappointment. The way you noticed, and still had to keep the whole group moving. That is how responsibility often feels. Not dramatic. Just divided. A little of your attention here. A little over there. A little saved for the person who may need you next. A little held back for the thing you still have to pay, sign, answer, clean, remember, or fix before morning. The bills are paid now. The envelopes, the laptop, or the phone screen have gone quiet. The numbers did what numbers do. They lined themselves up without caring how long you had been standing, how much noise you carried home, or how many small things were already waiting on the counter. And still, the lights stayed on. The refrigerator kept humming. The faucet turned warm. The kitchen, imperfect as it is, did not ask you to become someone else before it let you stand there. That can feel like a kind of shelter. Not the kind that looks beautiful from the outside. Not the kind with everything repaired, labeled, folded, and put away. More like the shelter of a room that lets a person be unfinished inside it. A counter with a few marks on it. A sink that has seen too many rushed evenings. A plant in a plain pot, sitting near the rectangle of light as if it has no opinion about how well you managed the day. The houseplant does not seem to need much from you right now. It is just there. One leaf leans slightly toward the sink. Another has a small brown edge that you have noticed before and never gotten around to trimming. The soil looks dark in one place, pale in another. The pot is plain, maybe a little too plain, the kind of thing bought without much thought and kept because it worked well enough. There is something merciful about well enough. You stand beside it with wet hands, listening to the small sounds of the kitchen after use. The water touching metal. The refrigerator shifting into another hum. A faint settling in the wall, or maybe the pipes, or maybe just the house changing its weight now that night has come farther in. Outside this room, there may still be things unfinished. A message unanswered. A bag not unpacked. Shoes by the door. Tomorrow's practice plan half-formed somewhere in your mind. The ordinary life of an adult does not usually close all at once. It leaves corners open. It lets one task end while another waits in the next room. But here, beside the sink, the wanting grows smaller. Not gone. Just smaller. For a little while, you do not need a better kitchen, a newer counter, a cleaner history, or a version of yourself who handled every moment with grace. You are only standing in warm water and low light, near a plant that has kept living in its plain pot without making a speech about it. The room starts to feel private. Not empty. Not lonely, exactly. Private in the way a house can become after the public parts of you have been set down. The coach voice. The paying bills face. The person who knows what to say next. The one who keeps things moving because stopping would make everyone look over. Here, stopping does not disturb anyone. The plate in your hand becomes clean enough. You set it aside. Water gathers on the edge and runs down slowly. You notice it because nothing else is asking louder. The plant stays in the light. And something in you, without announcing itself, stays too. The counter beside the sink has collected the kind of things a day leaves behind when no one is trying to make a story out of it. A folded paper towel. A bottle cap. The corner of a bill you already paid, still lying there because putting it away would require one more decision. A little water has traveled from the basin toward the plant, stopping short of the pot as if even the spill has become tired. You reach for the dish towel and wipe slowly. Not with the energy of beginning something. More like finishing only the part that is in front of you. The kitchen does not become perfect. It only becomes a little clearer. The plate goes into the rack. The fork is turned upright. The faucet handle moves slightly under your fingers, and the water narrows, then stops. For a moment, the absence of the water sounds larger than the water did. Then the refrigerator hum comes forward. It has probably been humming all evening, through practice clothes dropped somewhere near the door, through the bills, through the quiet math of what came in and what had to go back out. It was there while you checked due dates and made sure nothing had been missed. It was there while you stood with one hand on the counter, feeling that plain adult feeling of having done what was required without feeling especially triumphant. No one cheers for paying the electric bill. No one claps when the balance is lower than you wanted but not as bad as it could have been. No one sees the small pause afterward, when a person looks around the kitchen and lets the body understand that the house, at least for tonight, is still here. That is not a little thing. The light above the counter keeps its soft rectangle around the plant. The leaves cast small shadows on the wall, uneven and ordinary. One shadow looks larger than the leaf that made it. Another bends where the wall is not completely smooth. You notice these things because the room has slowed down enough to let you. Earlier, everything needed a response. A whistle. A correction. A bill. A number. A reminder to yourself that there would be groceries soon, laundry soon, another practice, another evening where people would expect you to know the next step. It is not that any single thing was too much. It is the way they gather. Like dishes. Like shoes near a door. Like mail on the counter that keeps looking small until it isn't. You stand close to the houseplant and touch the rim of the pot with one finger. The clay, or ceramic, or whatever plain material it is, feels cool after the warm water. It does not ask to be admired. It does not need to match anything. It only holds the soil, and the soil holds the roots, and the roots hold the small green life that somehow kept going while you were out in the noise. There is relief in something so simple. The plant has lived through your rushed mornings. It has stood through late dinners, forgotten watering, The days when sunlight reached the counter and the days when the blinds stayed half closed. It has not become beautiful in a clean, magazine way. It has become familiar. That may be better. You lean your hip against the counter and let your shoulders lower in a way they could not lower in the gym. There, your body had to stay ready. Here, nothing is running a drill. Nothing is waiting for instructions. The room only keeps its small sounds around you. The refrigerator. A faint tick from the cooling pipes. The quiet after warm water. And near your hand, the plain pot stays where it has been, holding a life that is not perfect, not impressive, not finished, but still reaching a little toward the light. For a while, you let that be enough to stand beside. There is a certain hour when the kitchen stops being a room for getting things done and becomes a room for standing still. Not completely still, maybe. There is always one more corner to wipe, one more cup to move, one more small decision waiting near the edge of the counter. But the room has changed. It no longer feels like a place where the day is rushing through. It feels more like the day has set down its bag and walked away. You stay there a little longer than you need to. The dish towel is damp now. The sink has gone quiet except for one last drop finding its way down. On the counter, the houseplant sits inside the soft rectangle of light, as if the room has chosen it for no reason at all. The pot is plain enough to disappear in daylight. At night, it becomes easier to notice. Maybe because there is less competition. No full sun, no open cabinets, no voices passing through, no phone screen brightening the room with someone else's urgency. Just the counter, the sink, the plant, and the refrigerator hum giving the silence a low place to rest. You look at the plant without meaning to look for anything. That is a different kind of looking. All day, looking has been useful. Looking for the open player. Looking at the clock. Looking at numbers on a bill. Looking at what needed to be handled before it became a problem. Even kindness can become useful when the day is full enough. You notice a face, a delay, a small disappointment, and you respond because someone has to. Here, your eyes do not have to solve anything. The plant can have a brown edge. The pot can be ordinary. The counter can hold one small smear the towel missed. Nothing about this moment improves itself for you, and still, it is not failing you. That matters in a way that is hard to say. There are lives that look fine from the street but feel patched together from the inside. A light working here. A bill paid there. A dinner somehow made. A practice survived. A body brought back home and placed near the sink because that is where the next small thing was waiting. And yet, inside all of that, there can be shelter. Not a grand shelter. Not the kind that makes anyone envy you. More like the shelter of a room that keeps receiving you even when you return tired. The shelter of warm water that comes when you turn the handle. The shelter of a refrigerator doing its work in the background. The shelter of a plant you have not cared for perfectly, still holding itself in the light. You let your hand rest near the pot, you do not pick it up. You do not move it. You only stand close enough to feel how little is being asked of you now. The coach in you grows quiet. The bill payer grows quiet. Even the part of you that keeps reviewing the day, testing it for mistakes, replaying the tone of your voice or the number in the account, begins to lose its grip. Not because anything has been solved. Because the room is small enough. Because the light is soft enough. Because the plant is near enough to remind you that imperfect things still make a place feel lived in. For a few minutes, wanting less does not feel like giving up. It feels like returning to the size of the room you are actually standing in. A sink. A counter. A plain pot. A little green life beside your hand. The room has a way of becoming more honest when the louder lights are off. Not harshly honest. Not the kind that points out everything wrong. More like the quiet honesty of a countertop after use, where each small mark belongs to something that happened and nothing is trying to hide it. A drip near the faucet. A faint line of dust behind the plant. The place where the pot has left a pale circle from being watered and forgotten and watered again. You see it, and you do not move right away. Some evenings, the smallest mess can feel like a judgment. A dish in the sink can look like failure. A bill can look like proof that life is always a little ahead of you. A plant with one tired leaf can seem to be asking for care you are not sure you still have. But tonight, the room does not sharpen that way. Tonight, the imperfect things feel less like evidence against you and more like evidence that something has been held here. Not perfectly. Not cleanly. But held. The plain pot holds the plant. The counter holds the pot. The sink holds the last warmth from the water. And this kitchen, with its soft light and its small unfinished corners, holds you without making a speech about it. That is a rare kind of kindness. You might not have called it shelter earlier. Earlier, shelter might have sounded like a bigger word than this room deserved. There are still repairs that could be made. There may be a cabinet that sticks, a drawer with too many takeout menus, a place on the floor that always seems to catch crumbs. The bills are paid, but not gone forever. Practice is over, but another one waits somewhere ahead. Still, the room is here. It has received your tired shoes, your lowered voice, your wet hands, your quiet standing. It has taken in the coach who had to be clear, the adult who had to be careful, the friend inside you who might have wanted someone to say, "That was enough for today." No one says it out loud. The refrigerator only hums. The plant stays in its plain pot. There is comfort in a thing that does not know how to praise you. The plant does not thank you for remembering it sometimes. It does not blame you for the days you forgot. It simply remains near the sink, near the soft rectangle of light, making the kitchen feel a little more alive than it would have felt without it. You notice the edge of one leaf. You notice how the light rests on it without fixing the brown place. That small brown edge is still part of the leaf. The plant does not become less present because of it. It does not step out of the light. It does not refuse the room. Maybe that is why you keep looking. Not for a lesson. Just because something about it feels close to the way ordinary life really is. A little worn. A little watered late. A little tilted toward whatever light is available. Your hand moves to the faucet, checking that it is fully off. Then it rests again near the pot. The counter is cool now. The warmth has left your fingers slowly, but not all at once. The room asks for almost nothing. For a few minutes, you can answer almost nothing. And there, in that small exchange, the evening loosens. Not dramatically. Not enough to change the whole shape of tomorrow. Just enough for your shoulders to understand that the day has reached a quieter room, and you are allowed to stand inside it as you are. After a while, you stop looking for the next thing to do. It does not happen all at once. The habit is too old for that. Your eyes still move once across the counter, checking for a cup, a spoon, a wrapper, something that might make tomorrow morning a little easier if you handled it now. Your mind still reaches toward the edge of the day, feeling for anything loose. But the reach grows tired. The kitchen remains as it is. There is a difference between a room being finished and a room being quiet. Finished has a hard shine to it. It wants every dish away, every bill filed, every surface clean enough to prove something. Quiet is softer. Quiet can leave one towel folded badly near the sink. Quiet can leave the plant where it is, with its plain pot and uneven leaves, without turning it into a project. Tonight, quiet feels kinder than finished. You breathe in, and the air carries that faint kitchen smell of warm water, soap, and whatever dinner left behind. Not unpleasant. Just lived in. The kind of smell that says the day passed through here with its hands full. A few minutes ago, you were still measuring things. The amount due. The amount left. The time between one practice and the next. The number of hours before morning comes back through the blinds and asks everyone to begin again. There are so many ways an adult learns to count. And then, sometimes, without meaning to, you stand beside a plant in a plain pot and stop counting for a little while. The plant does not know what was paid tonight. It does not know what you worried about before pressing the final button, or what you decided not to buy, or what you postponed with a small private promise to come back to it later. It does not know how many times you encouraged someone at practice while quietly needing encouragement yourself. It only keeps its place. That is enough from it. Maybe that is part of the gentleness of ordinary things. They do not keep score the way people do. The sink does not ask whether you were patient all day before giving you warm water. The refrigerator does not lower its hum because you forgot something. The counter does not refuse your hand because your thoughts were scattered. The house keeps offering small surfaces, a place to set a glass, a place to lean, a place for a plain pot to hold a small, imperfect green life near the light. You stand there and feel, very faintly, that this is what shelter sometimes looks like when it is not trying to impress anyone. It is not grand. It does not erase the bills or change the practice schedule or make the next day easier before it arrives. It only gives back a little. A working faucet. A humming refrigerator. A counter that catches the light. A plant that stayed alive beside the sink, even with uneven care. And maybe your affection for this place comes from that. Not because it is flawless, but because it has allowed so much imperfection to belong somewhere. The damp towel. The tired shoes near another room. The paid bill still not put away. The coach standing in the kitchen after the public voice has gone quiet. Nothing here is asking you to become larger than you are. For a moment, you let yourself be the size of one person in one kitchen at 8:23 p.m., with warm water recently stopped and a plant nearby. That is a small life. And it is also a life. The refrigerator hums again, steady and low. The plant stays in the soft rectangle of light. You do not need to name what this gives you. You only stand there long enough to receive a little of it. Later, the kitchen seems to move farther away from the rest of the house. Not in distance. The hallway is still there. The rooms are still where they have always been. But something about the hour changes the edges of things. The counter feels more separate. The sink looks darker. The soft rectangle of light around the plant becomes the main place where the room is still awake. You have not left yet. There is no clear reason to remain, except that leaving would mean entering the next part of the night. Brushing teeth. Turning off lights. Checking the door. Passing through the small rituals that lead toward sleep, even when the mind is not ready to surrender. So you stay near the counter a little longer. The houseplant stays too. Its plain pot has become familiar in the way ordinary objects become familiar when they ask almost nothing from us. You know the slight weight of it. You know the place where the pot meets the counter. You know how one leaf leans more than the others, as if it has been quietly choosing the light all day without making a decision out of it. The refrigerator hums again. It is not a beautiful sound, exactly. It is mechanical, low, almost unnoticed most of the time. But tonight it is the sound that proves the room has not disappeared around you. It gives the silence a seam. It makes the kitchen feel held together by something steady and unremarkable. You listen. Not because the sound has meaning. Because it is there. A long day can make even simple listening feel like rest. You do not have to answer the refrigerator. You do not have to improve the plant. You do not have to make the counter shine. The bills are not asking anything now. Practice is not calling your name. The sink has cooled, and the water that ran warm across your hands is already part of the past. Still, a little warmth remains somewhere. Maybe not in your fingers anymore. Maybe not even in the room. Maybe only in the way you have stayed beside these things long enough for them to become gentle. There is the plant. There is the pot. There is the low hum. There is the quiet after wanting less finally became possible for a few minutes. You look once toward the hallway, where the rest of the evening waits without rushing. The house has its own small darkness now. A line of light under a door. A shape of a chair in another room. Maybe shoes near the entryway, still not moved. Maybe a bag from practice resting where you left it, holding the smell of the gym and the proof that you carried more than your body home. But here, at the kitchen counter, the day has thinned. It is no longer asking to be explained. It is no longer asking to be judged. It is only a day that happened, with warm water in it, and paid bills, and a practice that ended, and a plant in a plain pot that kept its place while everything else passed through. You turn off one more light, but not the small one near the counter. Not yet. The plant remains in that softened square, looking less like decoration than company. Quiet company. The kind that does not turn toward you, does not ask what is wrong, does not ask what comes next. It simply lets the room feel less bare. That is enough. After a while, sleep begins to ask in its own quiet way. Not strongly. Not like a command. More like a hand placed gently on the shoulder of the evening. You know you will leave the kitchen soon. You know the pot will stay where it is, cooling slowly beside the sink. You know the refrigerator will keep humming after you have walked away. You know ordinary life will begin again tomorrow with its lists, its lights, its small needs, its familiar weight. But tonight, before you go, the room gives back a little. A little shelter. A little privacy. A little affection for what is worn and still working. You stand there until you can feel it without naming it. Then you let the kitchen remain behind you, softly awake, with the houseplant still near the sink, holding its small green shape in the light. The kitchen will not remember this in words. By morning, the counter will just be a counter again. The plant will sit in its plain pot, catching whatever light reaches it. The sink will wait for coffee cups, rinsed hands, another plate, another ordinary beginning. The refrigerator will keep doing its quiet work behind everything. But something has been left here tonight. Not a lesson. Not a promise. Only the small trace of a person standing still after the long parts of the day had passed. A coach with tired shoulders. An adult who paid the bills and did not feel brave about it. A friend to the room, almost without meaning to be. The warm water has cooled in memory now. The light is softer. The house has lowered itself toward sleep, and the plant remains near the sink, imperfect and green, asking for nothing more than its place. You turn away gently. The room does not need to be perfect before you leave it. The counter can keep one faint mark. The pot can keep its brown-edged leaf. The day can keep a few unfinished corners. Still, there is shelter here. Small shelter. Enough to stand in for a while. Enough to let wanting become quieter. Enough to feel, without saying it too loudly, that ordinary life has given back a little inside this simple morning of the heart, even here at night, even beside the sink, even with so much still imperfect. The refrigerator hums after you go. The plant stays in the light.